He was here after it came. After you called about the thing. I was right.
And his birthday was in January.
Well, good.
They don't know your licenses.
Okay. All right, let's call meeting to order. We pledge again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. (7:08). So, glad we all could be here. Huh?
Should have a call roll since you recorded.
Yeah, have a
Roll call vote?
or just roll call.
Ed,
Yep.
Tammy,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yep.
Doug,
Yes.
JD.
Yep. So we're here to attempt to fill the 5th spot on the supervisor's board. Hopefully we can get that done. I see a letter of interest from Mr. McAdoo. Thank you. Is there anybody else here tonight that wants to stand up, speak up, or step up and throw their hat in the ring for supervisor other than the 4 applicants we have now? So Bus, you're in. Rick, you still in? Tom, you still in? Jonathan, you still in? Okay, so we have 4. You guys have all been interviewed except for Bus. If I have a couple questions too. If you guys don't mind, you want to do the same procedure. If you don't mind stepping out, and we can take one at a time. No
Did you have
particular
a
order?
question before you interview?
Sure.
Section 407 of the code talks about the length of time that they're going to fill this.
To the first
Mike's-
Monday in January.
Okay, did you read the compiler's note right after that? It says something about it would be the end of the term that they are replacing.
I think it says, I brought my glasses in.
Look at the compiler's note right after 407.
Do you know what page that was on?
No, I don't.
It's not really that, that's the handbook. You actually need the
No, it is in there.
The code.
It is in there.
It's 407. Compilers.
I don't know.
It's the bottom.
This,
I should have got my glasses, man,
This-
when I thought.
it mentions, I think, Act 166.
Act 167.
Which, okay,
Do you know what that 167, what it's
I
referring
couldn't
to?
find it. Couldn't find it.
What's not in here?
Yeah, the solicitor there.
Also got a judge of elections back here.
I don't know anything.
Is that the,
What's your recollection of what the code says?
I can't.
So what she's referring to, section 407, vacancies in general. You want me to read the whole paragraph or
No,
just?
I'm looking at it.
Okay, so it says, one thing let me ask all 4 of you before we go any farther. Obviously, I think I know this, but just as a formality, you guys have all resided in Donegal Township for at least 1 year.
Yes.
Correct? And you're all registered to vote in Donegal Township?
Yes.
Okay, that's the requirements. Other than that, she's saying that there is a compiler's note on here, and this is dated
Look at here.
section 407, and it says, compiler's note, section 9(2) II of Act 167 of 2006 provided that section 407 is repealed insofar as it is inconsistent with Act 167. But it doesn't go on to say what Act 167 is or why
Read
it's.
the next compiler.
Yeah,
Read
keep
the
reading
next-
it though.
Read the next.
Next compiler's note is section 5 of Act 166, which it doesn't reference, of 2006, which amended section 407, provided that elected assessors in office in townships of the second class as of the effective date of section 5 shall reserve the remainder of the their unexpired terms, thereafter assessors shall neither be elected, well, that's assessors, that has nothing to do with supervisors.
Is that the assessor?
That says assessors.
Quick question, JD. Let me go and get you my glasses out of town.
I got some out there, I just didn't think to grab them.
Is it an assessor?
I can read it if I hold it out
We
here.
haven't had assessors in years.
Yeah.
You got a lot of reading to
Why
do.
don't you just ask her what point she's trying to make here? I don't know what it
The
is.
point I was trying to make was, if that did include supervisors, was their term at the 8 months, which they were led to believe, or is it until the end of Mike's term, which is,
No, it's a
4
following
plus
year. It's just, it's
No, I
supposed to be
can,
one
no,
year.
that is in here, hold on a
right, but
second.
when you read that compiler's note,
Well-
you don't know what the section
Wait, the
166 is.
compiler's note is not the law.
Because it's cheated.
That's commentary on the law.
We
Okay,
didn't know that
well,
yet.
I'm
That was
just
new.
pointing it out to find out
We
which
didn't
one
know
it
that.
is. Is it an amended thing? Does it include a supervisor? Because you wouldn't want somebody thinking they were running 8 months and then
Not all.
they're
Tammy.
really not. That's my point.
I found it. So this is Township Supervisor's Handbook as of March of 2018. As I understand, that is the latest version. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It is Richter? Is that the correct? And what's his first name?
John, just go,
What do you prefer?
just John.
Okay, thank you. So it says, in this handbook, it says, in all cases, the appointed supervisor serves until the first Monday in January after the next municipal election, provided that the election is held more than 60 days after the vacancy occurs.
So it's not 8 months. The next municipal election will be,
The first Monday in January. So-
The next municipal election
is
is
2020.
2020,
No, I think it's just fall.
this fall.
November.
It's November.
Oh, because
That's
Is it
the
your
what the
spot's up this
election
year,
was
right?
Yeah,
gonna
but
be.
So there'll be 2 positions open in November.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, because they were elected in 17, took office in 18,
He's done.
Oh,
every
no.
2
He
years.
might resign.
like, yeah, his spot is up, so
So
that
Doug's
position would need
Mike's
filled
position only has to
regardless.
fill it till
Doug's
the
position goes
election,
up.
and then
Right,
Okay, so
so you're talking about Mike's position.
yes, so does that mean that
No,
there's,
we didn't
that it
know
goes
that.
till this municipal election?
Yeah, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party
Yeah.
have candidates on the ballot.
Yeah.
That's been done many times.
that was, it is a 42, so that's all I got.
And there'll be then that, whoever runs in November will run for the remainder of Mike's term.
That's right.
It'll be a 4-year,
Yes, that's.
because Mike had a 6-year.
Right, it would be
Yeah.
4. That puts it back into sequence.
Right.
So we all in agreement that that's
That's ours,
what the intent of the law is, that
The
means.
reason,
Mary, is that not correct? You understand?
Oh,
It goes until the fall, or until the end of the year, but.
I don't know whether I want to answer that or not, Doug, because I'm not sure that anybody believes me.
Okay. I mean, that's always been the law, that's as long as I can remember.
Okay. I don't know. that
I'm
we're-
just reading
I
kind
don't know that we're here
No, it doesn't make any, we can't change it.
to argue the law. I don't,
I'm just telling you that
Pretty
it's gonna
clear in
run
the
till
code
next
book under
election.
407.
The reason they talk about January is that's when you get sworn in.
yeah,
But it has to be more than 60 days.
yeah,
And it is,
okay,
so I think you're okay.
let's go.
So as we all understand or agree that this position, whoever fills this seat, is just till the first Monday in January.
That's our,
Of
that's
2020.
our understanding,
Is
yes.
that correct?
Yeah.
Fair to say?
They're gonna have to run, if they wish to serve, they
Right,
wish
if
to
they-
run in November, under any set of circumstances, somebody's gonna get sworn in
Right.
January. Either
Right.
them or somebody else who
Right.
won the seat.
Right.
then after reorganization.
Okay. I have questions right down too, and I forgot.
Because he was neat that Zach was in there.
So do you guys want to step out and we'll do the interview one at a time? If you want, we did it alphabetical order last time, I think. So Rick, Tom, Bus, Jay, right? Fiddler, Greaves, McAdoo, Plains. All right? Is that all right? You guys want to step out and we'll just... Bus, you want to come up and grab a seat?
Last person?
Yep. No, you're not first, I'm sorry. Fifth.
Fifth was
I
first.
apologize.
F, A, B, C. He's going by first names.
Right.
That's what I thought.
I had a list of questions too, but I believe in a hurry and I forgot.
I just made some up.
Yeah.
Just write them down so you make sure you ask the same question.
Anybody else want to go first?
I already asked you my questions.
Thanks for coming out.
Well,
Why do you want this position?
try to get this township back where it was, where it belongs.
And what do you see as the main problems and issues with
Well,
that?
it's two-sided, two on each side.
And,
You need to work that out. Everybody don't agree all the time, but you have to give and take.
and what would you do to try to remedy that?
Try to talk to all of them. But if I was appointed, I want to sit down with all four of them and discuss it, see what each side is, and go from there. See what we can work out. Something has to be worked out.
If it was your choice to make, who would you appoint?
I don't think that's a
Yeah.
fair question, I'm sorry.
Why not?
Because he'd say himself.
He can say himself. That's perfectly fine.
I don't think that's a fair question.
I happen to agree, I don't think it's fair either.
I was gonna ask all the same question.
Oh, well, no, I
Well,
understand that, but it's kind of putting him on the spot there.
Well, let him answer. If he says himself, who cares?
I would think they would all
It's
say.
putting us all on the spot. Everybody has to pick. And you can say yourself or you can decline to answer. It doesn't
I
matter.
appoint myself, because I already served 12 years.
Good answer. There you go.
That's all I'm looking, you know what I mean? And why do you feel that you're the best qualified for this position? Over the other, I mean, they're all,
I've been in it before. We worked, what was that, 2000? Year was that, Kathy, was you short on money? 5?
We're always wrong.
That was about the middle of the 90s.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. We had to lay people
Late
off.
90s at Cafe.
We had to lay people off because we didn't have no money. Well, we worked through it. And we got it back to where it should be.
missed something.
No, wait, no, your next question.
Go ahead. Anybody else?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What do you feel is the most important in this township for people?
Roads and their security. Be able to come and talk, any problems they have, come and talk to the supervisors, try to get it straightened out.
If you were appointed and a resident has an issue that they bring to you, how do you resolve it?
And talk to them, find out what it is, and go to the rest of the board, see if what we can do about it. I've done that a lot of times. You have to work with them, try to help them out. This is ridiculous, and you gotta do what you gotta do.
You got anything?
I asked all my questions the last time.
Doug?
I think more than what I asked before.
Kathy?
Yep, I'm good.
Tammy, anything else? John?
No, I.
All right, thank you. Will you send, I guess Tom's next.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, you're up.
Huh?
Remember your question?
No, I haven't written it down. Jeff Green.
Yeah.
JD,
Yes, I'm
are
sorry.
you gonna ask all the ones that came in before to go back out?
They didn't last time and it's irrelevant now because, you know, I mean, he's already, you know what I mean? Let's see, what's this next? How are you?
I'm here.
Well, thanks for coming out and putting your name in the ring. Why do you want this position?
Well, if I can help and help out the township, that's what it's for.
And what,
Well, I was so proud of these guys that they stuck together and we don't have to fool around with that zoning business. And I was pretty sad about Mike having to, quit, step down that there. And I just thought maybe I could help. And that I've lived here all my life and always tend to my own business. But like I said, I've been a president of the local 1639 for 19 years, never had a grievance. So I'm pretty proud of that. I've raised 3 good kids and had good parents. And I'd like for this township to get back. And I've rode the road graders with these supervisors. Old Henry Russ Meisel and Ben Main and them, when they done our road, sit down at the lilac bush and eat dinner with them and that there, and I know what it's like to have good people.
Tom, what do you see as some or the biggest problem and issue in the township right now?
Well, dissension because some didn't get what they wanted. And they're upset and are bitter about it, which, like I said, you got to go on, move on, and do positive things. Forget about the past.
And what would you do to resolve those problems? If you were appointed, what would you do?
Well, I would, vote for the things that are the best for the township and to save money for the township. That's the main thing too. I mean, whenever you do away with all the money, and these guys have give theirs back and that to bring this thing back to where it's at, and I commend them for that. And that's another thing, I'm not in it for the money, I don't need no money. They can have my pay, I don't care. But I just like to bring unity, that's what I'd like to bring to it. Not to say I'm the boss, because every one of these people out here is the boss right there. And the majority rules, that's the way it should be.
And if it was your decision to make, who out of the 4 applicants would you appoint?
Well, and I'm not prejudiced, but I wouldn't take myself.
And why? Why do you feel that you're the best qualified over everybody?
Well, one point is you have to be presentable, J.D. For one thing. Another thing is, you have one guy that he's never really held a job a day in his life. And I thought maybe one of the requirements is that you should own property to be on this board. And he doesn't have that. And Rick, he's a good guy. And I've known him for years, we're friends and that there, but
I think they're all good guys.
yes, well, I'm not gonna go that far.
We'll leave it at that, though. I think there are anybody that's willing to step up and
Okay,
Next question.
no, I'm not gonna go that far.
You're right, I should have wrote the questions down. I did, and I left them on my desk at home.
He's doing pretty good so far.
You know, right out here's a good example. The only reason that those tombstones that are left is because of my nephew. When he stayed with me, he done a project and took those trees and that out and rooted them out and cleaned that up and put a fence around it. And he done an essay on all those names on those stones that's right there. And the rest of them, you know the story on them. And let me tell you something. You couldn't, I don't care how much money you've got, you could not pay me to do that.
Did I miss one?
What is the most important issue in this township?
Well, I asked him what the biggest problem issue.
If someone has, then it was, if someone has an issue, how would you resolve it?
Yeah, if you're appointed, a resident comes to you with an issue.
Well,
What
it
do you do to
depends on
resolve
the
it?
issue. You know, it's just like the issues that we had with, like I told them at the other time. My grandkids, they sell sweets, and I do not think that they should have to come in here and get a permit to put a sign up so that they can sell sweet corn. I mean, those kids are just, that's helping them along in life and teaching them something. And if I want to sell hay, I should not have to get pay for a sign to put up to sell hay. And that, if that's the kind of issues in that there, yes, I would try to stop.
So if you are appointed
Yeah,
and a resident comes to you with an issue or a problem, how
Right.
do you handle it? What would you do?
well, I would come to you guys and tell you the issue, and then we would sort it out and talk it over, and then whatever the majority says, that's the way it be. It's not up to me to make a decision on that person.
And what do you think the most important role as a supervisor is? Is that not what you asked him? Something to
I
that?
asked, what is the most important, that you see in this township? What is most important? I never read it, most important
Issue in the township.
issue in the township.
Well, I told you, it's to keep things so that you have, you know, I mean, we pay taxes and that there, and we ought to have a little bit of say on what we can do and what we can't do. You know, I shouldn't have to, if my grandson cuts firewood and puts a sign up for firewood, and they say, oh, you can't have more than 1 quart of firewood out there, you gotta build this certain building to put it in. That's not, and that's the kind of stuff that was in there that I read. Am I wrong or right?
The original zoning, yes,
Yeah.
it was.
The original,
You know,
yes,
and stuff
yes.
like that, that's how I would fix it, but I would come to the guys up here. I mean, it's not up to me. It's up to me to give them my opinion, and then we'll talk about it, and then vote on it, and then however it is, it is. You know, the one guy could have solved this whole problem and saved this township tons of money, right in this room, stood up back there and said, I will pay for it, he said. There's 3,000 voters. We'll send out a postcard. Yes, you are for zoning, no, you are against zoning. It comes back, if it's for zoning, we live with it. If it's against zoning, we drop it. You know what the guy said in your seat?
I know.
We're the boss and we'll make the decisions. Now, that's not right for one person to make those decisions. So that's my opinion.
Kathy, anything else?
Nope, I think it's it.
Tammy?
No.
Eddie? Doug? All right, thanks, Tom. You can, if you would ask
Yeah, I sure.
Bus to come in, please.
Yep.
Take a seat. Thank you.
Okay, next, Buster.
Have a seat there, Bus. again for coming. What do you think, what's your feeling what the biggest problem and issues in the township right now need addressed?
Supervisors can't get together on anything. This bickering has got to stop. We've got to calm down and not fight one another. The personality problems are no good.
And if you were appointed supervisor, what would you do to resolve that?
I would try to work with all of them, try to get resolved any way I could. I don't have any personal problems with anybody. You can't get anything done this way.
If the choice was yours to make, who would you appoint supervisor out of you four?
Out of where?
Out of you four applicants,
Well, myself.
okay, and why? What do you bring to the table? Why do you think you should?
I've been associated with the township for 45 years. Worked for them, was a supervisor, and did everything in my power right. No patchwork, nothing. We just tried to benefit the township every way we could, to do what we could with the money we had. Used to be, we never had any money. You really had to run close. But now, money seems to ruin us.
What do you think is the most important role as a supervisor?
The people. Serving the people, doing what they need done. Working on the roads, fire department. Whatever comes on the table, you need to look at it and resolve it one way or the other.
What one did I miss?
If someone has an issue, how would you resolve it?
If you're appointed, and a resident comes to you with an issue, how do you handle it?
You talk to him. Depends on what kind of an issue it is.
But then what steps do you take to resolve it?
If you can't talk to him and get it resolved, you bring it to the board. Resolve.
And what do you see as the main issue?
It's the most important issue in this township.
Most important issue? I don't know. I don't know what the most important one is. But, I think we'll let the ball leave us when we didn't put zoning in. It should have been zoned for an agricultural area, not Peters Township, you know. There's things that we could have did that would have fit this township. But the lady did it, she didn't do anything that suited the township. I suggested before, check East Findlay and West Findlay if there were zoning, and work off of that, see what they had, and try to work out something. But that's beside the point.
Anything else?
I think it's it. It's all of them.
Doug, do you have anything else?
No.
Ed? Because you guys didn't get to interview him the first time, so
I think you answered, or you asked all the questions I
I
had.
didn't remember what all you had, so.
Yeah, so-
What's your view of the role of the supervisor?
What?
What's your view of the role of the supervisor?
He's a servant to the people in Donegal Township,
Why do you want the position?
because I think I can help you.
That's the first one I answered.
Do you have an axe to grind or an agenda?
No, I certainly don't know.
And you already gave us your opinion on the zoning.
Yes.
Tammy?
No, that's my question.
Kathy?
Yep, I think it's all of it.
Here, Bus, thanks. Will you ask Mr. Plains to come in, please, and then take a seat with the rest of it?
You're up, buddy.
Sorry to make you go last again. Thank you again. Why do you want this position?
As I expressed last time, I see a lot of division in here, and I feel that I'm neutral in all of this, and we just need to move forward.
And what do you see as the biggest problems and issues in the township right now?
Micromanaging. I think the board is trying to micromanage all the positions too much. You hire the best people for the job and you let them do their job. We have chief of police, the road crew has a supervisor, they should be handling the decisions. They need to come to us for funding or questions, but I shouldn't be telling them what to do every day. I don't think anybody should be telling them what to do every day, that's why you hire them. That's how I look at it, I mean, just stay out of the way, they should go do the job and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do.
And if you were appointed, how would you resolve the problems and issues, or what would you do to help resolve the problems and issues in the township?
Well, I have to start with talking to everybody, I mean, and get all sides of the story, not just what's out here, or what this person thinks, or what this one said. And I'd have to go from there, man, I'd have to understand what everybody's opinion and decisions and where they're at on things before I can make a decision and see what's going on exactly. I read what I read on Facebook, hear what you hear up here, but I don't know all the details by any means. So I have to talk to the road crew, I need to talk to the secretary that has an issue, I just need to know what's going on more before I can tell you exactly how I can fix everything.
If the choice was yours to make, who would you appoint out of you four?
Again, this is where I don't know anybody, so it's hard for me to make an informed decision about one of them. And I didn't get to sit in here and listen to their answers, so I don't have.
That's why.
So I don't have an informed decision because I don't know them.
Okay. What do you see as the biggest issue in the township right now?
The division at the table and in the audience. Try and bring that together would be a big start in getting decisions made at this table, one way or the other.
What I miss?
If somebody has an issue, how do you resolve it?
So if you're appointed, resident comes to you with an issue, how do you solve it? How do you resolve it?
They, again, would depend on the issue and what the situation is, but, I mean, I guess first and foremost would be discuss it with the other supervisors and see if it's something we can do, solve, or what we need to do. But